Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session about Docker Compose and how you can use Compose and containers to during your development of your AI application and cloud application. Just a few words about me. I'm Guillaume Lours. I'm staff software engineer at Docker. I'm working inside the team that is called Docker Client and SDK team, and basically my main work is working on Docker Compose and some new SDK that you should see arrive soon. Before we start, who is already using Compose every day? Okay, most of you, perfect. Who is using Compose with AI already? Oh, few of us of you, okay. And who plan to do this soon? Well, not so much, okay. Well, anyway, you will have all the input you will need later if you want to start developing AI application, containerized application with Docker Compose after this talk. What will we see today? Just do a very quick recap about the challenge we have to address with the new paradigm of AI development. I will show you the new feature that Compose proposes you, but all those features are linked to other tools that will make your developer life way easier and improve your developer feedback loop. So the first one will be Docker Model Runner. We will see about that will be the only paid feature, Docker Offload. And all the other are open source ones, so don't be afraid. There will be the MCP gateway, a way to manage multiple MCP servers, how you can share your Compose application very easily across your team or to distribute to your customers. And we will see how you can use Compose Bridge to bridge the gap between the development process and the production. And we will talk about provider services that will help you to enrich the behavior of Docker Compose. Okay, so what are the new challenge as a developer we may have, especially when we are using containers? If you are using a Mac or Windows machine, you may know that your containers are running inside a virtual machine. So inside this machine, your containers are running, so you can imagine having access to the GPU of the host is a little bit tricky. How can we handle that to allow you to use and work with LLM pretty easily on your local machine? How can we work with all this new tooling arriving, like MCP servers, agents, and maybe other new stuff coming soon? We don't know. And what about security? MCP server will be a huge security issue in a few. How can we at least mitigate the risk and use them with confidence? So let's see that. First, so before I talk about Compose directly, I need to talk about Docker Model Runner. What is Docker Model Runner? This is an inference engine that is running locally on your machine. So just a Docker repackaging of Llama CPP, but with dedicated features to facilitate the communication between your container and the model that are running on the host. So it works the Docker way. That means that you can pull, push model like containers, like images, in fact. So they can be directly accessed from Docker Hub. And you will have, as Docker Model Runner is running on the host, you will have the full access to the GPU capabilities. So that will definitely help you to test at least and get more interesting feedback. You don't have to run your model inside your container, inside the VM. That would be very, very slow. So let's see. First demo. To manage that, what we have done, sorry, I'm not on the right one. What we have done, on the compose side, we had to add a new top-level element inside the specification, which doesn't happen really often, to be honest. That was a long time we didn't do that. I think the last time that was for secrets, maybe. So yeah, long time ago. And so now you can define your model directly inside your compose file. There is a simple way, as usual. So you can just define a name that would be the name used internally in the compose context. And then you will define the only mandatory field is model. And then you will define the OCI artifact that is where your model is stored. And what will happen when you will do a Docker compose up, compose will call model runner and say, hey, I want to access to that model, okay? And if the model is not present, Docker model runner will download it for you and configure it. So in the simple version, you don't pass any configuration, but if you want, you can also specify the context size. You can pass runtime flags like the temperature or the verbosity of the logs and stuff like that. This is the default configuration. Obviously, you will be able to override those values within your request to your model, okay? So pretty simple, few attributes. The runtime flag are the one that change the most because depending of how model runner involved on the other side, we have more capabilities to configure the model itself. You can define the list of model. You can define different type of model. You can define chat model. You can define model to manage RAGs, like the unbending one. And how you can pass this information about the model to your service. So I have a sorcerer agent service over there. And I just had to define a model attribute and then list all the model I want to use. I can do it as a list, so I can do that, in fact, if I want. Sorcerer. And pass no configuration. That means that Compose will set for you a specific environment variable to pass the model name and the URL to access the model using the name of the model with a suffix of with an underscore suffix, underscore URL or underscore model suffix. Okay. Or you can decide to change either the model, the variable that will be used to pass the model name and the variable that will be used to pass the endpoint. So for example, if you are using the OpenAI based URL, you can change that and say, oh, I want to use the OpenAI based URL directly. So you don't have to change anything in your application and you can test it with your local model and then switch to production, and that will use, I don't know, ChatGPT if you are using ChatGPT. Okay? So how it works. Let's do a quick demo. Docker compose up. So it was really fast because obviously the model are already installed on my machine. So model runner, I just have to configure it. So the sorcerer and the unbending were just configured during that hub process. And if I do Docker compose attach sorcerer agent, so I already inside my my application, and I can talk. Who are you, for example? And my agent detect with the RAG capabilities I added with the embedings that, okay, you are asking stuff about which kind of person I am, my age. So it brings the information from the unbendings model and then send it to the chat model that is able to answer me. Tell me something about your family. Sorry. And then you see that the RAG capability we added is able to detect some stuff, and it brings the information and so on. So how it works inside the application itself, it's very straightforward. So I have a LLM URL variable over there. And what I'm doing is I'm getting the default env variable that I specify inside my compose file. And if I don't have a value, I will use your default one. And that LLM URL is used with my OpenAI SDK when I call the new client to be used as the base URL. If I go to the sorcerer agent, you will see that I get the model name using the LR model on variable I changed earlier. You remember over there? No, this one. Here. So yeah, I get access, and the same way I defined a default value to be sure that my application doesn't crash, but that's not mandatory. And if I go to the embeddings, this is the same. Just getting the model name to pass to the OpenAI request, and that would work. So yeah, because I forgot to say you that Model Runner is OpenAI compatible, so you can use exactly the same call that's the one you will use to connect to request OpenAI. So yeah, it's easily, if you already have stuff existing and working with OpenAI standard, you will be able to run them also with Model Runner. Okay, what's next? Docker Offload. Yeah, that's great. But if I want to test with a bigger model that I can't run locally, or my machine is not powerful enough to use it. For once, I will start the demo first, and then I will explain you what is Docker Offload, okay? Because it will take a little bit of time to pull the model. So as I said, this is the only paid feature I will show you during this demo. So you pay as you consume for this one. Here there is a button on the top of Docker Desktop. I just click on it. It changes. You see Docker Desktop the color change. It's connecting to the remote machine. Okay, it was faster before I was sharing my screen, obviously, as usual. Okay. Usually it doesn't take so much time. Oh, come on. Not a network issue. This is the only one I need. Please. Okay. I will explain you in between. I was supposed to start. Okay, it's here. So everything is okay. I'll start so I need to exit the application. I will run exactly the same one, okay? Just to show you. I didn't change my model. I will use the same because that would be faster to download. But you can imagine using -f, my base model here, okay, and then -f, my offload configuration that will change the value of the model only for offload. So I don't know if you are aware you can override stuff like that in Compose, but you can. So I will do a up-d, and it will pull the model and do other stuff. So what is the Docker Offload? It's an offer that will give you access to cloud resources with GPU acceleration. as you have seen, in one click only. Usually it's faster than that to get access to the remote configuration. I didn't change anything on my application, and it should behave the same. And that will give you more power when needed. So you can develop using small model on your machine to have a good feedback loop. And then when you want to try with a larger model or the target model you have in your company, then you can switch to your flow, test it, and when it's done, just turn it off. It's done. So I think it's, yeah, no, it's still pulling. Okay, we're almost done. So you see how it works between Compose and Model Runner. So Compose, ask Model Runner to pull the Model Runner pull the model for you. I have done anything. They are working together for you. You don't have to pull the model by yourself. It's done. And then I will attach again my sorcerer agent. Remote access, always slow. So, but yeah, you get it. So every time you need, I mean, it works obviously if you need a GPU, but if you just need more resources than the one provided by your machine, it works also because there are very huge nodes behind the feature. So who are you again? And yeah, it works exactly the same. Tell me something about your family. Come on. Sorry, my French. And yeah, so I didn't change anything. Just turn on a button and I can access to more resource if I need. Okay? Great. So I think that's, I mean, for me, in my opinion, one of the best tool we currently craft in the last couple of months. This is the MCP gateway. Who is already using MCP server? Okay, not so much. For those who don't know, you can have very easily a lot of MCP server available. And that could be complicated to have to pass all the credentials inside your application. There is a lot of security risk and so on. So for that, we developed the MCP gateway. So the MCP gateway is a tool. It's open source. There will be a slide with all the link at the end. It's open source. You can use it as a container also. There is obviously an integration already done inside Docker Desktop. So for those who have access to Docker Desktop, it's already installed and you just have to use it. I will show you right after. And so that gives you an access to the MCP catalog of a lot of MCP server available on the Docker Hub. All the MCP servers are running inside containers, so they are isolated. And they are running on demand only, which means that if you need to access to a tool, to a prompt, to any resources of that an MCP server, the MCP gateway will start the server at that time, make the call needed, and if you do multiple calls to that MCP server, the server will stay up, and at one point it will stop the server if you don't use it anymore. So to limit the risk and remove the container, so limiting the attack surface that is available. Okay, and the MCP gateway manages the secret and the tool access for you. I mean, allow you to manage the secrets and the tool access. So, what is it first? Inside Docker Desktop, there is the MCP Toolkit available there. So you can see the list of the MCP. Maybe I can make it bigger. Don't know. Yeah, it's better now. Okay. So you have the list of the MCP server installed already on my machine. As you can see, some need some configuration. For example, the Kubernetes one need an access to the Kubernetes setting configuration. If I go there and I go to the GitHub one, for example, you can see that we have access to all the tools available. If I go to the configuration, you can see that I can use a host authentication flow, or I can use a path. But there is some MCP server, that, for example, curl, that doesn't need anything because they are just running curl command for you. And there is a huge catalog of MCP server already available as container. You can also submit yours. So if you are developing MCP server inside your company, you can submit, open a pull request to submit your MCP server, and it will be available inside our catalog after a few checks. So you can see there is Notion, there is Brave, there is a bunch of AWS MCP server, the GitHub one. I mean, almost all the big companies are already there. You can also connect easily to your client with one click. Okay, so it detects that I have the cloud desktop installed. I just click on connect and that's it. I will have access via the MCP gateway to all the tools available inside my server. So I have only one access point, my MCP gateway, which is in fact another MCP server. But that one, his role is to know all the other one, make the list and limit the access and stuff like that. Okay? So how it works with Compose, because we are here to see that. Okay. So I have one model inside that Compose application, the Fear model. I have an MCP roll dice server. So that server will be running inside the container, and his role will be to roll the dice during a fight. Those examples are from a Dungeon and Dragon game. So that the MCP server will roll the dice. There is another one that will allow me to talk to any non-player characters inside the dungeon. So I have a second MCP server, and then I have my dungeon master, Zephyr, and that dungeon master has no link with those MCP server. The only link that service has is with the MCP gateway. And that's because the MCP gateway that is defined as a container, as a service also in Compose, will be in charge to manage the MCP, the access to the MCP server that are declared in my application. So I'm using an MCP, a private MCP catalog. So okay, I forgot to say that you can use the public catalog, but you can also have your own catalog. So you can limit the list of the server, the MCP server you want to give access. And so I will use a private catalog, and then I will give access to the MCP talks to somebody server and the MCP roll dice. Okay. Let's see how it works. Docker Compose up. Docker Compose attached Zephyr. Zephyr is not running. Why? Because I'm not in the right terminal. That's why. Okay, so the MCP, there is a new version of the MCP gateway. Oh, come on, my bad. So that's why you need to not use latest. Okay? So that was not supposed to build the image again, but yeah. Everything have been built before. Come on. Okay. Do you have any question about the MCP gateway? No? During the build? Trust me, I build everything before going on stage. But yeah, my bad. I didn't use I used the latest tag. Yeah, I think we are almost over. No, it's downloading all the Go dependency. So let's do another one during that time. I hope this one will be faster. Open in a terminal. So the one I will show you is using the MCP inspector. So the MCP inspector, oh, come on. But the image was there locally. What happened? Ah. You know what? Look, I didn't turn off. That's why everything was so so long. Okay, let's do it again. Docker compose up. So I go back to the previous one. Okay, it's way faster. Come on. Up dash D. No, that's not. Oh, I'm lost. Sorry for that. Okay. So let's go back to my Zephyr agent. Okay, way faster. Docker compose attach. Zephyr. Okay, no. Let's kill everything. So Zephyr doesn't want to work. Okay. Let's move forward. So the idea is that when I call to Zephyr and say I want to get access, to talk to Dwarf, for example, it will detect that I wanted to detect that you need to run the Dwarf. Maybe that's not. Okay, come on. Okay, got it. I didn't run the right demo. That's me. Okay, so the tool detection will detect that. Okay, you want. So it's using another tool because we have plenty of tool in this one. He say you want to check if there is a Dwarf player, a Dwarf person inside, and he say no, there is no. So it seems you haven't created a player first. Okay. But anyway, you have seen that it detects a tool, asks me for the tool, and that everything is passing via the MCP gateway to do that. Let's go back to the second one. So the second one will allow me to show you via the MCP inspector how you can test very easily your MCP. How you can test easily your MCP server. Okay, it's creating the token. I got access to the URL, and then here we go. So I will connect. So this is the internal access to the MCP gateway, the host.docker internal. You can see the port we define in the application. I connect to it, and then I can list the tools available, and you can see there is a choose character by spaces, and I can run the tool saying Dwarf, for example. And if I run the tool, I got Galdor, and then my agent after that is able to say, hey, I want to chat with Galdor and get information from Galdor. You can see all the calls that have been done. So it's pretty easy. You can this application is running also as a container, so you can have, for example, a profile in Compose defined to run that only when you want to test your MCP gateway. But what I want to show you also is that if I go to that one, and if I do dash tools, and I get this one, okay. So what I'm doing right now, I say to the MCP gateway, I just want give access to that tool. So I don't want to be able to see the detect real topic in user message tool. Okay. So if I run the application again, okay, can you give me the link? Okay. If I go back, connect, go to the tools, the list, I only have access to that one. So the MCP gateway is doing the job. That means that if you are not using a local catalog, but you are using the full catalog and you have multiple MCP server installed, you can, by both the server and the tool attribute of the MCP gateway command, limit the access to the servers or to the tool inside the server. So you can do the kind of matrix of I want this server with those tools only, and be sure that your application will get access only to what is needed for it. Okay? Let's go back to our presentation. So now we have seen that. What could be very interesting is to be able to share this application either with our coworkers or maybe use that as a distribution package for our customer. And we added a year ago, I mean maybe a little bit more, a new command that is Docker Compose publish. Who was aware of that? Ah, one person, two, okay. So that command allows you to push your application as an OCI artifact, but it doesn't publish only the Compose file, it publishes also the service images and everything at once. And it's pretty easy to use on the other side because you just have to do a docker compose -f OCI and then give the repo, your username, the repo name, and the tag you want to pull, and everything will be done for you. Let's see that. So still using my MCP gateway demo. Docker compose publish. So this is the name of my application. Okay, maybe that's better like that. And then you say, come on. Okay, so I try to push it. So the previous one say, hey, you have only build section. I can't push your code inside the OCI artifact. You have to build the image first. So add build the image, and I will be able to push them. So that was done for that example. And he say, hey, you want to push some environment variable, and maybe you will leak some sensitive data. So I won't do anything except if you had an explicit --env with env flag. So I will do that. And then he say, okay, I understand that you want to do it, but I need to show you what are the env variable and the value. So it displays the dungeon master instruction that we can see over there. And all the other one. And if you check and everything is okay, you can say, okay, yes, do it, please. And then it will push everything. So obviously, I already pushed the application. But if we go to the hub and we go to the repository, we will see that the Save Via app was pushed less than 1 minute. And if I go to the Zephyr application, I can go to the tag, and when I click to a tag, I will see the detail of the tag, and I can see the content of my compose file. And on the right, you can see all the images that have that are used by my application. So the link has been done between your compose configuration and all the file, all the image needed to run your service. So there is the MCP role dice, there is Zephyr, there is the MCP tool to somebody that are available. So cool. How can I use that? Let me check. I don't have anything running. Be sure. Okay, so if I do a docker compose -f OCI, ask to run the Zephyr app in detach mode, then it will pull the compose application for me, store it inside a cache directory. So that means that if there is a new version, that everything will be put in the same place. And if I do a docker compose attach Zephyr, okay, here we go. Who are you? No, I want to talk to a dwarf. Then that what wasn't working earlier is working now. He asked me, okay, you want to execute the choose character function? Okay, let's do it. It detects the tools, then get the information, pass that to my LLM that is able to answer me as Galdor. And if I say roll 3 dice of 20 faces, then it will detect that I want to use the other tool provided by the other MCP server. And I say yes, and it will execute it. And okay, that's not a good score for 3 dice of 20. So yeah, this is the way the MCP gateway will make your life easier when interacting with MCP server, honestly. Something very, very great. So Compose Bridge. I won't spend too much time on it because we already have done some presentation of that product. Who know what it is? No? Oh, okay. So maybe I will spend a few minutes. So Compose Bridge is a tool that allow you to generate any kind of output format from a Compose YAML file. Okay, so it's a very simple interface. The input, so it's using Docker images. The input is your Compose files. You can pass many of them. And the output will be the file you want to generate, okay? It's based on Docker image, so pretty easy to package and to share with your team, and you can craft your own. So you can use the language you want, the templating tool you want, or whatever. And by default, what we are providing to you are a Kubernetes, plain Kubernetes manifest and charts. And we also had a customization for the Docker desktop Kubernetes distribution. So that means that you can very easily transform an Compose application and run it inside the Docker desktop manifest. Those templates are due with Go templates, and there is inside the Docker Compose Bridge command a way to duplicate an existing template, and then you can start with that and just rewrite, adapt it for your needs. So there is already a good start point that you could use. So if you are a developer or an ops, you can work together with your developer to craft your own template that will be shared inside your company and apply to all your Compose application. That won't make your production assets, but at least that will give you some output that are close to what you expect at the end, and maybe something good enough to be passed into your production pipeline, for example. So how it works. I will take another example. So this one is a basic application. Where is my mouse? Okay, basic application with a database, MySQL, an API, Python application, and a web app. Okay, so if I do a Docker Compose up, the application should be almost started already. Okay, so here we have our avatar application, which is running. Okay, and so as you see, my application is running. I don't know if you see on the bottom, but there is a menu in Compose, and when I click on the Home button, I will get access to a specific page inside Docker Desktop. Voila. That page show you all the Compose YAML files that are present, and there is a button that helps you to convert and deploy to Kubernetes. So if I click on it, it says, hey, your application is running. There might be port conflict if we try to run the Kubernetes one. So we need to stop the application first. Is it okay? Yeah. So I stop the application, and it will generate for me in the bridge a namespace deployment for my API, my web service, my database, the port exposed, the default network policy. There is also some overlay for my IP services and so on. This is doing the same also with Helm chart. And what we need to check right now is that my application is not running anymore. So I can kill that one. So my application is not running anymore. It's the application is stopped, but I still have access. So that means that maybe. Oh, come on. Maybe this is already running inside my kube cluster. Cool. So you can test pretty easily if your application will be running inside a kube cluster. Okay. And the last one I want to talk about is the provider services. Who know what it is? This is something pretty new we introduced a few months ago. No one play with it? Okay, cool. So provider services as basically extension point to the Compose model. And when you will do a Docker Compose up, Compose will switch to that provider services that are running third-party component, so third-party binaries or shell script or whatever, that are not managed by Compose directly, but that will allow you to, I don't know, create resources before you start your Compose application, call your AWS CLI to get the URL of your database, or create some resource on the fly before starting the Compose application. So, for example, this one is as a service database that is awesome CLUD, so it will create a MySQL database, for example, and we can pass the option we want. And that database will be used by my application. But let's see something a little bit more concrete. I will show you another Compose file. That one. So that Compose file is the same, except the front-end service is not present. Okay? And what we have in this one, we have an API Kubernetes service that is using a provider, and that provider is a binary called Compose Telepresence, and that binary will basically check if Telepresence is already installed in your kube cluster, then create an interceptor for the specific service you define, so the service API, and use the service of Compose in a replacement, and you have to specify in which namespace and which port you want to reroute to your local application. Okay, so how it works. So I will show you the Kubernetes page because that will be more visible, as I have seen a bug in the logs. So we would have way too much logs to follow directly on the logs. My bad. Didn't run the right one. -f. And I will use the watch mode. We know the watch mode. So as you can see, the mchart is installing the traffic manager. We will have 2 pods soon. Okay, we have 2 pods available there now. So I have the traffic agent that is doing the rerouting for me. And if I go back to if I go back to my application, it's still running. So what I want to do is test that my change are taking in account directly. This is the purpose of watch, the watch function in Compose. The watch function is looking at some of your files, and when the file change, it can rebuild the container. It can just swap the file inside your container if you are using I don't know, language that are already supporting auth reload. And you can also just have a sync and restart, so it will sync the file inside and just restart the container and not rebuild it. So there is multiple options you can do. And what we could do is, for example, say that we don't want to see the accessory anymore. So the accessory was that part. If I go there and I save it, you see that watch detect a change. It's a sync change, and I don't have the other section anymore. I can change, for example, the color of the T-shirt of the body, and it's using the teal T-shirt instead of the Docker one. So cool. I can interact with my front end still running inside my kube cluster. The provider services start for me the telepresence stuff and do it. Cool. Perfect. I can stop it. But if I do that, I lost everything. I lost my access. So I need to down my application. And if we go also in keyHow, we will see that it's in installing the pod and then in installing the traffic manager. And if I go back, everything is still there running inside my kube cluster because I didn't change anything inside my kube cluster. I was working locally in interaction with my kube cluster. Cool. That's it. We have to do a journey around AI, cloud development, how we can use Compose to facilitate our life as a developer. So what you need to as a takeaway to bring back with you is that there is a bunch of new tools coming from Docker around AI that will make your life easier during your development process. Honestly, use them. They are just amazing. It's the MCP gateway. We have seen so much people coming to us and say, that saved my life. I have so many MCP servers I need to interact with. That way I can just restrict the access, be sure that I have access only to that specific MCP servers and only those specific tools and blah, blah, blah. We have... when we started to develop those projects, Compose was the main target, so the support was here since day 0 of the release of the other project. So we were able to use them directly within Compose, and it's pretty easy, as you have seen, only a few lines of configuration. You can share your Compose application, and it doesn't work only for AI application. You can share any kind of Compose application. Use it. I think this is something very awesome that was missing for a long time, to be able to share Compose application and use them directly. You can extend the Compose behavior. You don't need any other bash script to create stuff before starting your Compose hub. Now you can do that directly within Compose. And yeah, we have bridge that will help you to bridge the gap to the production. So we know it's not perfect, but it's fully customizable, so you can make it work with your company way of working with Kubernetes, for example, or any other kind of tool you want to do, file format you want to generate. I let you that slide a little bit. We won't have any time for the question, but I keep that slide visible. So there is all the link to all the tools I show you today. Thank you for your attention. Please don't hesitate to vote to that talk and give me feedback so I can improve the talk. Be sure that what was wrong, especially the demo effect at the beginning, won't happen the next time. Thanks for your attention and enjoy your DevOps.